That is how we stack it. My passion is all I have it. I grab the bag it and run like a quarterback and pass these passes. I'm catching these passes. It's kicking with Keenan. 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 It's kicking with Keenan.
All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Your boy here, Keenan Sargent, aka 1192, with another episode of Kicking It with Keenan, as always. And it's always fun to really do this for you guys and just to really get the whole, everything out. We've been doing a whole lot of projects, doing a whole lot of everything. And you know me, I'm always there when I get the chance. And believe me when I say this is the first time, actually second time I actually worn this suit here. Go with the red, white, and blue. And for today, I'm going to do some more stuff later down the line. But for today, I have a very, very special guest. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I know it's the holiday season, but sometimes you got to feel American. You got to feel like a national pride guy. Salute to everybody. Salute to all the troops and everything in between. But for today, my very, very special guest, a good friend, and also a local wrestler. Yes, first local wrestler on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you guys, Mr. Benjamin the Jet Trust. How you doing, me boy?
How you doing?
Real good. We're going to get you set up here. All right, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, American man himself, Benjamin the Jet Trust, here in this podcast. And I got to tell you right now, I've seen this kid for years, and all this time, he has been evolutionizing himself to be the young boy that just came to America, and all of a sudden, boom, he's just bursting on the scene in the rings. How you doing, Ben?
What's up, Keenan? How you doing?
Real good. So, brief history, forward quick. Before I even got to wrestling, we met at a local party. It was a Halloween party back in 2016, and I still need to get him on the show, by the way. And, as people, as strangers, we were just guys. We had a good time. I think you were Superman Clark Kent for that party. It was a Halloween party at the, some place in Solar. I forgot what place it's called, but yeah, you were Superman that year in 2016.
I'm Superman every day, anyhow.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I'm talking to a hero, y'all. But anyway, so I have met him, like I said, I met him at a costume party, and then throughout the times, he's been in the ring. He has been just everywhere, whether it be St. Louis, whether it be Illinois, whatever the case is. So I want to know.
New York, Texas, I've been everywhere, brother.
So you're the national running man, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Jets touchdown anywhere.
See, I love this guy. So exactly, and kind of brief with the people here, who exactly is Benjamin the Jet Trust?
Well, I am a independent professional wrestler. That means I'm not signed to a major company. But not being signed to a major company has its advantages. Like, I can show up anywhere, in any town, in any city, and wrestle anyone I want. And I don't have contractual obligations and any of that. So the Jet is not a cute nickname. I really am the Jet because like I said, I will go anywhere and wrestle anyone. And then, just look at this guy. I look like I have 10,000 gallons of jet fuel burning in my veins. I'll come at you like cruise missiles, baby.
I heard that's the nutritional need nowadays.
Exactly. You know it, but you're witty.
All right. So now you're donning the whole red, white, and blue. You're donning the American spirit, the national, I want to call it the national anthem, because you got to sing to America, right? So this whole American style of yours, like what was the whole dawn of that?
It's just me, man. It's not always red, white, and blue. I got I got two main jackets. I got a brown, I got three. I got a brown one. This one's white and gold and blue. I think it's just Americana is kind of my style, and that 80s Americana specifically.
See, that's that pinup style. Because you can't.
50s. That's more of like my manager, but it is a bomber's coat, which were popular. I got the parachute straps, because when you're as high as the jet, you might have to come down. I want to land safely.
See, I like that.
It's just my style, and I've always, looked like this, and I've always, I collect vintage Bombers jackets. So when it came to time to get a entrance jacket for wrestling, I just had to be myself.
And
Big Eagle,
and what's so amazing about this? What's so amazing about it is that I think for a lot of wrestlers, even back in the day, it really wasn't much of like what this person had as far as the looks. I mean, back then it was just like tights, boots, and maybe some elbow pads. I don't know if that was even a thing back then. But then later down the line, in the 80s, everyone had their own look. They had their own style and persona, right? And not saying it's the wrong way. I feel that an American look is a good look. Now, at times, it will be oversaturated, but I mean, you got to pull it off. And for you definitely pull off the pilot look, the bomber, whatever you want to go with, and I like it. I definitely like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that think that this is just slapping on red, white, and blue and going out to the ring and calling it a gimmick. But if you don't live that way, then people will see through it. And also, I dare you to find anyone on the independents with any of my colors that do it better than me.
Ooh.
You won't. No
Ooh.
one as fly as me. No one as good as me in the ring. And like I said, no one can pull this off. Like I naturally, my hair parts here. They had to take Chris Evans and make his hair part there to turn him into Captain America. Mine does this naturally. That just tells you one thing right there.
Jesus Christ, this kid's calling out the heat. I like that. It's so like, okay, so everything about you, and to everyone is his own, but to you personally, you have the whole American USA, I'm that soldier of pride thing on your back, right? And for a lot of people, like I said, it's when they look at you, they either look at fear, they look at competition. What is it that you want your opponents to look at when they see you in the ring or see you coming towards the ring?
Man, I think it's got to be intimidating because they got to see me and think, gosh, I don't look near as good as that guy. I wouldn't want to be in the ring getting compared to me. That's for sure. No one's got drip like this. And then you keep saying Americana. I've been called compared to like Top Gun. I've been compared to Homelander. I got called Chadlander at a show one time, and I didn't know if I could take that as a compliment or an insult, but it lives rent free in my head. That's for sure. But I'm in way better shape than most independent wrestlers. I'm tan, I'm jacked, I'm handsome. It's just it's got to be intimidating being them, and I don't envy their shoes, and I also don't feel bad for them. So
he just flies with these.
To wrestle me, and they could try to get in shape and be jacked, be tan, be handsome, have great gear, travel the country, but they don't. They just are there to get beat up by me. So.
Man, this kid is savage. I like that, man. So now, as far as being the Jet too, traveling, it has to be rowdy. It has to be crazy to kind of, get booked for a lot of shows and going here one week, going there the one week, and then just so like, what is it like traveling? Whether it be just you or the wrestlers, like, what is it like kind of scheduling the plan and getting the bookings?
Getting the bookings is easy. I have 40 dates for next year already. I'll be wrestling a ton. The difficulty is I always feel bad when there's two promotions that want me to work on the same night because I want to be everywhere. I wish I could be at both places. I got tons of airport horror stories I could tell you, but that's just the life is just on the road, and I want to do more of these podcasts. And me and you have been trying to make this happen for a while, and it's just
definitely.
It's a struggle, I feel like I'm always like 3 months behind on podcasts. Like they'll hit me up, and it'll take me a bunch of time to, I got like 10 in my DMs right now that I'm trying to figure out when I can get around to them.
Well, I mean, when you get there, it does happen. People want to see Benjamin the Jet Trust. And for the record, Trust is your actual last name?
Yeah, real last name, Trust.
Here's the thing, and I'm not going to lie here. My last name, to anybody that doesn't know, My last name is actually Sargent.
That's dope.
I'm not military whatsoever, but if I was, and I got to go through the ranks, I would be surprised if I had to go sergeant. That is that going to be weird? Is that going to be? I don't know if that's going to be funny, or people going to be like, "What's your real last name?" I'm like, "I'm Sergeant." Yeah,
I feel
Corporal.
like that happens. There's a guy in the area, Mike Outlaw, and his real last name, I've seen his driver's license. It's really Outlaw's his real last name. So.
Shout out to Mike Outlaw. I haven't seen that dude in years. And what's so funny, like I said, the names, these names, they always have something behind that. And like I said, for you, the jet, yeah, you're the pilot, the bomber, whatever the case is. But like, I want to think like he's the jet because he's quick, he's fast, he could fly over to anywhere at any given moment right now, right? And so I'm thinking, as American as he is, like the American flag, it just flies over the skies. It flies over wherever you can think about, right? Now, so has Benjamin the Jet Trust, has that always been there, or is that just like this come out of the blue when you really found your American like look?
So with wrestling, I think it's best that you don't pick your own names. Like a lot of UFC fighters, they don't pick their own names. I wore a bomber's jacket in the ring when I first started wrestling, and they started calling me the Jet. And then, it kind of flows with Jets are very synonymous with St. Louis, because we got Boeing and we got the Battle Hawks, whose like mascot is a jet. And I've done other things. Like I was in a stable at one point called the League of Extraordinary Wrestlers, and I was the Mr. Extraordinary of that group. I still call myself Mr. Extraordinary from time to time. And I think if you see me in the ring, you'll know why. Oh, dang, that's just extraordinary. But no, I always come back to the Jet because it fits me so well. And like I said, it's synonymous with St. Louis, and I think I'm the most St. Louis wrestler, and I don't need to plaster a like fleur-de-lis St. Louis flag on my chest like some of these guys try to do. It's like it just comes off naturally,
And so, as anybody would think, everyone wants to be in like some sort of sports, right? You got baseball, football, basketball, all that, right? Now with wrestling, and I was thinking to myself this today, for wrestling, it's dangerous. It is, but like, it's still a great sport to watch. Now, even as an attendee, just going there, you're like, wow, it's amazing. But then as a wrestler in the ring, you're thinking, okay, let's pull out the moves. So let's go with the history here. And we got to go all the way back, but like, please briefly, the history of Ben Trust before wrestling and then starting wrestling.
So I've wrestled my whole life, collegiately, since like elementary school. So like you think like high school style wrestling, I did Greco-Roman wrestling, I did freestyle wrestling, and I did all that all the way through college. And a lot of guys get into mixed martial arts because there's not a professional league for wrestling. There's no NFL, there's no NBA to go to. You can go to the Olympics, I guess. Shout out to Kurt Angle. But I just thought, man, I have too much charisma. I am too handsome. And, I think I should be a pro wrestler, Actually, Amanda, my wife, my girlfriend at the time, was like, we were both big wrestling fans. And she's like, hey, you could do this and you could do it better than anyone else. So, she really believed in me and kind of pushed me down that path. And it works out because, those MMA fighters, they fight 3 times a year if they're active, and I fight, 3 times a weekend sometimes. So, it's just as hard on my body as it is an MMA fighter. But, that didn't fit me. MMA didn't fit me. I'm more entertaining. I'm more charismatic. I'm handsome. I think I have a lot to offer on that end of things, and then when it comes to physicality, I'm just as physical as any other athlete. You can put pictures of me next to any, athlete, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that guy, lifts weights and works out and is fast and strong and can jump high and all that good stuff. So
Right. And speaking of Amanda, and like I said, I've been knowing her for a little bit too, and I gotta say, first off, you guys are a cute couple, and also congratulations being a American dad. If I can say it here, you got now you got a little one. I think he's like 1 year old, I believe.
he's 4 actually.
Oh, 4. Oh wow,
Yeah.
it has been long. Okay, well, happy birthday to the little one. But that's the thing, the American family. God damn it, it's getting back to me. So now Amanda, y'all been together for a long time, yes?
Yeah, long time.
And her coming onto the wrestling scene. Now she's been your announcer, your personal commentator. Like, has she been kind of shy firsthand, or did she kind of know what to do and she just went right for it?
Oh man, and I say this not because I think she's beautiful and I love her and all that stuff. I say this with the utmost honesty. It is a crime that she did not become a wrestler when she was like 18, because she would have been signed to every major company you can think of. She is the most natural entertainer I've ever met, and she doesn't even need to do a lot. Like someone recorded us talking about our new gear that I got my stablemates, my proteges, Scott and Jake. We were talking about the gear and having a good time, and man, her face in that video and the facial she makes and all the story and everything she expresses without saying a word is you just can't teach that. You can't teach that. And it's like she does little things without being told.
Oh.
She got ejected and she took her jacket off and threw it at the ref, and she doesn't miss cues when it comes to the performance of wrestling. And man, all she would have to do is know how to take 2 bumps, and she would have been wrestling Sasha Banks. It's a crime she didn't get into wrestling sooner in her life. But that's what happens when you're as smart as she is. She's got a bunch of college degrees and she's a scientist when she's not in the ring, and she's one of the smartest people I've ever met, and she chose to pursue that path, and she's very successful, and we bought a big house and it can feed our beautiful kid because of that success. But it is a crime that she didn't start wrestling when she was 18, because there would have been no stopping her.
Yeah, because she's basically your Lady Liberty. I like to say that. It's because it's
Liberty. My first lady.
It's just national. So like, and speaking of your stablemates, to both Jake and Scott. So were they just individuals just doing their own thing, and then one day you kind of just recruited them? Like, how did all that come together?
So they're in a tag team called the New Guys. They're very new to wrestling, and they're very young. Scott is like 24, and I don't think Jake is old enough to drink. I don't know Jake's actual age.
Woo! Wow. Okay.
But,
youngin.
Yeah, they both remind me of myself in different ways. Like, Jake's got all the charisma I had at that age. He's very creative. Scott is very creative, and he's got all the viciousness I have in the ring. So, like, I just see so much of myself in both those guys, and I'm watching them wrestle, and I'm thinking, man, we could really be something, I think there's a balancing act with trios. Like, if you look at any trios, I know you're a big anime fan, so I'm going to bring up some trios in anime. If you look at Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura.
Yep.
You have funny, cool, and serious.
Yeah.
Sasuke's the serious one. Sasuke's the cool one. Sakura's the serious one, and Naruto's the funny one. You look at the starter Pokemon, you got funny. Every generation you have funny, serious, and cool. They always make one of the starter Pokemon look cooler than the others.
Right.
So that's just like a trope in any sort of trios writing. You look at any books, any TV show, anything like that, not just anime. We just have that naturally because Scott is very serious. He's very all about business. He's just there to put warheads to foreheads.
I like
Jake,
that.
yeah, Jake is hilarious. He takes pictures after we beat people up with his Polaroid camera and sticks it to their forehead. It's beautiful. It's great. It's very original. It's very creative. But he's a very goofy guy. And then you have me, who is just, like I like to say, I don't know if I can curse on here, but
Sure you can. Go ahead. We're Americans.
goddamn, I'm cool, man. That's all I ever hear.
See, that should be on a T-shirt right there, man. That should be a shirt.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I want to compare this here. So, I'm gonna think of other characters. I want you to think leader or soldier or whatever, however you want to go with it. All right. So,
Okay.
Optimus Prime.
That's a leader.
Okay. Superman.
He's not a leader. I mean, he leads the Justice League, but he's like a farm boy in Texas. He's kind of from Kansas. Sorry, I always see Superman when it comes to Justice League as more of the mascot because he's the most powerful.
Ooh, okay.
But there's other people that actually like Martian. Have you watched the original show, cartoon? You know, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. You'd see that like Martian Manhunter and Batman kind of were the leaders, while Superman was like the mascot, the figurehead.
Right. Okay, I get that. Okay. Homelander.
He's a leader.
Whoo, man, I like that. Even with a big ego, that he can scare some shit into you. Okay, Hulk Hogan.
I don't want to call Hulk Hogan a leader because he definitely led things, but he was kind of just about himself.
Whew. All right. That's cold. Okay, let's get a little. Okay, let's get a little challenge here. Okay. Okay. In general, all the Red Rangers and Power Rangers.
I think in general, the Red Rangers are supposed to be the leader. Now, whether it happens that way or not is just depending on the season. Because, like, Tommy, the Green Ranger, definitely led the team after the rest of Mighty Morphin, you know.
See, I was going to say that, too.
Theo was the same when the Gold Ranger came around. It just depends on the season.
Now, okay, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of another character. Okay, Luke Skywalker.
Luke's a leader, I think. You know, honestly, I'm not into Star Wars. I mean, I don't find anything wrong with it, but it's just not. I'm not that kind of dweeb.
All right, Captain America.
Leader. He's literally the leader of the Avengers.
Now, if you've seen the Falcon and Winter Soldier, U.S. agent. He was like an old copycat Captain America guy.
Yeah. That's not being a leader when he's U.S. agent. You know, that's kind of him. Business for himself.
Man, cause I don't like that character so much, man. It's like
it's a good character, but it's not a leader. You know?
Okay.
What team is he leading? You know.
Well, he's supposed to be leading the West Coast event, I think, in the next series or something. Now, last one, Benjamin the Jet Trust.
I mean, I'm a leader because I lead every company I'm in and ratings and ticket sales. But when it comes to me and the good guys, you know, I like to think that they do call me captain. I am the team captain. But I'm trying to instill in them that they're just as important as me. And that's just because if you look at a pyramid, if you take out any piece of that pyramid, it falls over, you know. Everyone might look at the top of the pyramid, but you need those supporting things to make that work. You know, and Amanda's part of that pyramid, and I have a whole creative team behind me. Shout out to Joey. I'm sure he'll watch this. He usually watches all my podcasts. Noah. But it's like, I'm very fortunate. Lou Bird, D. I have a whole creative team behind me. So
I like that.
The good guys, then the Jet Trust wouldn't work without all four of us, you know?
Right. And
so they do call me captain because I think I make the final decisions in a lot of things when it comes to the team. But, you know, one day, I'm 10 years older than most of these guys, both those guys, you know, and it's like one day I won't be here and they'll be, you know, champions of everything. So.
Now I have a quote, and I want to see your definition of it, or I want to hear your words on this one. So if I said something like leaders aren't chosen, leaders are trusted. How would you go with that? If someone said something like that.
Yeah, that explains why they call me captain. It's like, Scott is much more worried about hurting people and winning matches, and Jake's much more worried about having fun. So they kind of trust, no pun intended, me to make the right decisions. And that's why they call me captain. And, Amanda's just here to win titles and brag about how great her team is. And so, again, she trusts me to make the right decision and find a way to win. So that's what's important.
Now, if you do have merch, I will let you use that. I will let you use that. Leaders aren't chosen, they're trusted.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good one.
I'll let you keep that one, dog. and speaking of champions, so now first off, these two right here, these are old ass belts, but you actually hold a numerous amount of titles. You're actually a current PWI championship holder.
Pro Wrestling Epic. I'm the Epic Wrestling Champion right here. I got the belt right here.
Oh,
this is supposed to be the belt that the most epic wrestler on the independent circuit holds.
It's so shiny, ching ching.
Perfectly.
Because you know what, being a championship holder, and no offense to anybody, you got to actually do what you can to earn, fight, and bleed for that title, right? And for a lot of others, they will come after you. People that don't have a title, they will come after you. So does that bring a lot of more challenges to you? Does it bring just more, okay, bring them on, or are you kind of calm and you know how it's going to turn out?
Man, it's crazy because, there's a lot of people that wish they were the Jed, that wish they had this title. And I never realized the amount of relief having this title would give me, because when you're not the champ, you're chasing it. And you're always thinking of ways to get to that. But what can I do different? What can I do new? How can I make myself more interesting? How can I make myself stand out? Once you got this bad boy, everyone's got to chase you. Everyone's got to try to top what you're doing. And I don't think anyone's going to do that anytime soon. So I'm so far ahead of the game.
Now, what was your longest reigning title out of everything you wrestled for? What was your longest reigning title holding?
I held the interstate title for 364 days. I was 1 day short of a year.
Ooh.
And I don't like to talk about it, so let's ask another question.
Okay. What has been the best opponent by far?
I get asked this all the time. There's so many ways to answer that question. I think the person that got the most eyes on me was Jack Vaughn, the Jet versus the Bed. The person that legitimized me was Kurt Stallion Rogers. He wrestles in Japan right now, and I would love to wrestle him again. That's a big deal to me.
Okay.
Jake Painter, me and him had a match that I hear random people will ask me about. I'll be in Wisconsin and someone will be like, "Yeah, I saw you wrestle Jake Painter in Chicago, and that match was incredible." It's like, I don't think I really realized how special it was at the time, but I think a lot of people watched it, and we were two hungry young guys trying to make names for ourselves. So I think 10 years from now, I'll look back at that match and it'll be special. My favorite person to beat up is probably ATM, because anytime we get in the ring, we push each other. Yeah, man, there's just a lot of ways to answer that.
I feel okay. What is, to you and to anyone else, what is the most important thing, or what is the most important, aspect when it comes to someone being a professional wrestler?
Man, there's a lot of ways I can answer that question too. So I think the most important thing is you need training in the ring. And then a lot of wrestlers, once they're trained in the ring, don't stay in shape. So you need to always keep training in the ring. This is a perishable skill. If you don't use it, you lose it quickly. So you need to keep training in the ring. You need to perform often. So if you're only wrestling once a month, you're not going to get any better. and you need to stay in shape. Because if you're out of shape, you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else.
Right.
And you're not going to look as good. And if you don't look as good, then you don't get as over. And then I think the most important thing is, above all that even, is doing something different, standing out, finding a way to make people want to pay their hard-earned money. Because I might diss the fans or call them dweebs or whatever, but I do appreciate the fact that they can't help themselves but spend their hard-earned money to come see me. So, and I don't blame them, because I've turned myself into an attraction. I've worked very hard to make myself very interesting, and I've worked very hard to make myself can't miss. So that's what you need to do, is you need to make yourself interesting, and it's very important to be different and creative and give people a reason to buy a ticket to come see you. And that goes back to that opponent thing. Everyone will always ask me, it's 2024 coming up. They'll be like, who do you want to wrestle in 2024? Who's you want to call anybody out? This and that, and that's never mattered to me. Who I wrestle has never mattered to me. What matters to me is I always want to be in the match people want to see. So I want to be the guy they want to buy a ticket to come see. I want to be in the match. I don't care if it's for the title or the second match of the night or the third match of the night or the first match of the night. I want to be the guy they want to come see. I want to be facing the opponent they want to see me face. So if there's someone out there that, typing on the internet, I would love to see Ben the Jet take on, Mad Dog Conley at 0-1. Like, that excites me.
You got a lot of choices out there.
Yeah, someone wants to see me wrestle that guy. So that makes me want to wrestle that guy. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see Ben take on Aaron Williams. Or I want to see Ben take on ATM. Or I want to see Ben take on Anakin Murphy. Or I want to see Ben fight Mike Outlaw at Glory Pro or Warhorse or whoever. That excites me.
You got a whole lot of time on your hands, man.
Yeah, I don't think about wrestling these guys until I see people post that they want to see me wrestle those guys, because I know that's a guaranteed ticket I'm going to sell.
And back to the growing up part. Like, have you been going to a lot of wrestling shows way beforehand? Like going to WWE or TNA or even WWF, if that was the case. Like, what's it like for you to go out somewhere and watch wrestling?
Well, I enjoy it. I grew up watching wrestling. When me and Amanda first started dating, that was like our go-to date night. Was let's go to the local indie show. And that's what made her think, man, you're in shape, you're tan, you're handsome, you're athletic, you can do all this. And she really pushed me towards that. So there are nights. That's why I like having the Jake, Bosch, and Scott Stanley with me, because it's one match every night that I get to just sit back and watch them perform and do their thing, and I get to enjoy. So yeah, I do really enjoy wrestling. I enjoy independent wrestling when it's good.
All right, and I should have asked this earlier. So break down your moves, your signatures, your finishers. So just from your not really least favorite, but like your, easy, simple ones to like your big finish.
So I'll start in the opposite order. My big finish is the danger zone submission hold.
Ooh.
I call it that because I'm inverted when I lock it in. It's a neck crank where I'm bridging up on my head and they're flat on their stomach. There's pictures and videos all over my Instagram at Benjamin_Trust. I do a missile clothesline. That's where I throw myself at the ropes and my head and my arms go like this, and I bounce off the ropes and I turn around and blast the guy in the face with a clothesline. So you got to protect your neck around that.
Yep.
I have a dust-off combo. That's usually a head kick. I kick him up and I knee him in the face with a rising knee. I've lately been doing my jet stream, which is I get them sitting on the apron and I hit the rope and dive out of the ring and splash their back.
Ooh, man.
But, yeah, that's some of them right there, At the United States of Slam, that's an old finisher of mine, where I pick them up on my shoulders and drop them on their head. Trying to think what other things that I really like doing. I really like, I don't believe in rope breaks. That's common beninism or whatever you want to call it, but I'll have a guy in a submission hold, and they always want to grab the rope, and the ref always tells me if they grab the rope, I have to let go of them. That's when I stomp on their hand and tell them, I don't believe in rope breaks, or rope breaks are stupid, or whatever it is I tell them. That's a common thing that I'm known to do. So people don't even, they try to reverse the hold or something. They don't even try to get to the ropes on me anymore. They don't want their arms stomped on. So that's another thing.
And of course with the training, you do that like very, very often because you want to make it accurate. You want to make sure that, of course, in ways your opponent is safe, but you want to try to perfect the move, and you definitely improve every other time, right?
Oh, absolutely. I want everything to look polished and clean, and above all, I want it to look painful.
Kind of like a B-17 bomber. I like that.
Yeah, it's polished and clean and painful. Shark face bomb. So yeah, you got to practice. You got to train really hard to pull all that off.
Now, I don't know if you have endured it yet. I know at times you don't want to. Injuries. Where you out?
Oh, I've had injuries. Luckily, nothing serious, but I've definitely woke up the next day and my neck or back or shoulder or knee hurt. And that's just part of the game. You just and that's part of the grind. That's how you know you're better than everybody else, because anyone can do this fresh. When you're wrestling, 8 times a month, and you're still finding a way to win against guys that wrestle 2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah.
It shows you're the guy.
And and it's like, man, you hate being injured, but at the same time, something gets slipped, and it's like, well, fuck, what are we gonna do? And I think like for some, I think like the knee would be not too much, or maybe I guess the elbow or shoulder.
I think it goes back to what I said earlier with the training. The best way to prevent injuries is to stay in shape, stretch, stay flexible, take your recovery serious, take your diet serious. I do red light therapy, I do hydro, massage chairs, I stretch, I do yoga, I do myofascial release with a foam roller, or massage gun. I think all of that is important, and that all will keep you from getting injured. I think the life of an independent wrestler, you're going to bang your body up, and then you're going to drive or fly home. You're going to be stuck in a seated position for a few hours, and that's the worst case. The worst thing you can do after having this high impact sport. So you gotta train hard, and you gotta do all the right things to keep yourself from getting injured.
Right, and because like I said, I only broke my wrist one time throughout my life. I never lived so dangerously, but I know with wrestling, anything can happen at any given moment, so you want to try to be careful with that, and especially when you're gonna be out for months. It's a bitch, believe me. And then at that time, later you do kind of get back on the ground, like you said. You train yourself a little bit and kind of get your body back in order, because wrestling is cool to watch, but it's painful to kind of endure. But but it's still, like I said, wrestling. It's an art, and it's from generation to generations. And I think now wrestling has become so modernized, I think, on the local scene, because any state now or any city, you can promote shows. There's a whole lot of places that you can promote at, and you gotta get the right guys. And I think for you, from start to now, you really rose from the ladder. Like you every step that you've been on from year to year, you actually changed the game. You changed how Ben Trust is then to how he is now. And again, you got this whole thing going on for you. I'm definitely proud of you for one, and you definitely have a very nice character, if I could say. And to any other wrestler out there, credit to you and kudos to you. But for you, for all these years, I knew for one day, this kid, all right, he's gonna start in the ring, all right, and then you're still continuing. I'm giving you applause on that one, dog. You are the Jet.
Thank you.
You are the American man.
You're always hustling too, so that's why I respect you enough to come on this podcast. But yeah, in wrestling, there's a lot of levels. So there's a lot of guys that start here and they stay here. And there's a lot of guys that are here for a while and then they get to here. And then there's guys that start here and then they get to here and then here and then here. And very few of us get up here, and it's just a constant grind, and you gotta push yourself. And a lot of guys don't realize when what they're doing isn't working or what they're doing isn't going to get them to the next level. And a lot of guys don't invest in themselves because, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, I love wrestling. This is what I want to do. This is my passion. It's my life. But then, you know, they only do it a few hours a week. You know, you got to do this 7 days a week to get good.
All right.
You do this all the time. It's got to be on your brain all the time.
Yep. Hustle and flow, man. Hustle and flow. Now.
Hey, you get it.
Now here's the bigger question, and I want you to give me your honest 2 cents here. What would you see Keenan Sargent as if it came to like the wrestling industry?
You're an entertainer, that's for sure. I think you would do a great job as a producer or a backstage interviewer or a color commentator. You never know. You know, that's the thing with like boxers is you never know if someone could be a boxer because you don't see them react until they get punched in the face. You know.
Yeah.
So I tell people this all the time because I see really buff dudes that are in shape to think, oh, you know, I'm as big as Batista, I'm going to be a great wrestler, and then they get dropped on their back once, and they're like, this isn't for me. So you never know what you're capable of, and you never can tell who's going to be great in the ring and who's not. Because, you know, like I said, one punch in the face, and your plans go out the window, you know, get dropped once, and you could decide this isn't for me. So I'd have to see you get dropped and see how you react, and before I could say anything about your in-ring.
Right.
You're definitely Nick, and you're definitely an entertainer. So.
All right, I'll take that. Now, also, I should have said this too. So, like, now I know you say a lot about training, you know, being in shape. So, like, what's your routine? Like, when it comes to like gym time, when it comes to prep meals, like, what's your routine on a daily next to, you know, hey, this match is gonna be coming up, so I gotta get, you know, fully ready to be 100%.
I don't train any different for any match, but I train all the time. And I don't take, like a lot of guys be like, oh, it's the day after the show, I'm going to go have McDonald's. The day after the show to me is just the first day preparing for the next show. So every Sunday I prep all my meals for the week. I rarely deviate from those meals. I lift weights 5 days a week like a madman. I also recover hard, like I said. You know, the other days when I'm not lifting, you know, I'm doing yoga and stretching and red light therapy and myofascial release and all sorts of things to recover. So my routine never changes. I do, you know, just tons of cardio, an insane amount of weightlifting, a ton of wrestling training, and I wrestle a ton of matches. And I do a ton, even more recovery stuff. So it's kind of consistent, and that's the best way to be. I'll take like a week off around Christmas. My wife's birthday's around Christmas. I'll probably stop training right on her birthday, right around her birthday, and then you know, recover, and then I'm back at it for, you know, the other 358 days of the year.
Well, you know, hey, happy early birthday to her, and of course, the happy holidays. And you know, yeah, like I said, everyone has to keep their routine up because otherwise, if you slip, you know, maybe coming back to it, fine. But like, if you're kind of just like not really pushing yourself to be better, you know, casualties will come in effect. And I know this because I've been there before. But
there's always someone working harder, right?
Same. But you know, like I said, I like sports. I definitely like sports, but like wrestling has always been like a fan favorite to me. You know, I can go for some baseball, no problem. But like being able to watch wrestling on TV was one thing, but then going to like a local show, you know, no matter what state you're in, it's just fun to see that like up front. You see how they work, you see how the venues are and the crowds and all that. And you know, I'll say this, you know, maybe not every show is gonna be a good show, but you know, for a wrestler, that's a dream. That's their job. They do what they can for the crowd, they do what they can for the company, and they do what they can for themselves. You know, you can't please everybody, but there will be people there to be like, oh my God, this is great. I need to come back for some more. That's life. That's business for all of us here, man. And you know, I like I said, I'm always proud of you, dog. You definitely really, you are now the new Ben the Jet Trust. And hopefully one of these days I will definitely see you in the ring. I know there's been a whole lot of matches all around, but my schedule is just kind of but I will do what I can to make a day to see you wrestle in the ring. Just keep me updated on those matches, all right?
I will, and I think you should do that, and I think everyone watching this should go out of their way to come see the Jet, Benjamin Trust, in the ring. I promise you, I'm worth the price of the ticket.
All right, well, we're about to wrap this up here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin the Jet Trust here. Now, before we go, I don't care if you do it for a minute or 30 seconds. I want you to give me a good Benjamin the Jet Trust promo. Give me something good.
I mean, I just told you it was something good. Listen, you should definitely go out of your way to buy a ticket to see me in the ring. I'm worth the price of admission. I'm worth double the price of admission. I promise that you will leave that night not regretting having come to see the Jet. And that's a guarantee. It's that simple. So stop what you're doing. Go to my profiles, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Find out when I'm wrestling next and find a way to be there because it's worth it.
Look at that. That's the Jet right there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Now, where can we find the Jet? Where can we find Jet? On all platforms.
The Jet Ben Trust on Twitter, Benjamin_Trust on Instagram. You can find me at Benjamin Trust on Facebook. I have a TikTok. I don't ever use it. You can go ahead and follow me. I get notifications. I get new followers all the time. That's good for you. It's great. It's great places to find me.
All right, and then now we got a few, and I know you got a few other matches coming up very, very soon. I believe you have one coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah, so January 6th, I'll be in a trios match with my guys. So you can come see the good guys in a trios action against Brandon Aarons, Kevin Lee Davis, and whatever other friend they find. I think Tyler Copeland. I don't know. It's Brandon's it's on him to put together a team. I already got my team.
All right. Okay, well, like I said, man, thank you for coming on the show. Like I said, and guys, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I've been trying to get him on since like probably April or May. So I'm glad we kind of got to December before the end of the year to get him on here. We'll definitely see him some more. We'll do what we can do some on-site interviews if we ever see him in a match. So thank you, Benjamin Trust, and shout out to, of course, your wife Amanda, and to your boys, Mr. Jake and Scott, and to, of course,
my good guys, Jake and Scott,
his good guys, and to all the wrestling fanatics out there, and to all the companies that has been associated in St. Louis or Illinois or even Midwest, however you want to go at it. So again, this has been another great episode and interview on the Kicking with Ken show. Y'all know where I'm at. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, even Facebook, and even the podcast page, Kicking with Keenan. This video will be uploaded on all platforms. Y'all know how it is. So until next time, thank you, Ben. Thanks to you guys. Let's kick it.